Eagle Scout, what's up? Well, then maybe you get to stick around for a bit. So I bought a Benchmade. Well, that came out nice and easy. Well, I'll probably be streaming for at least 1 hour, possibly 2. We'll find out. That is a full-size Griptilian, yes. I never noticed that they had a screw right there. Is there anything still holding this thing on? Well, obviously there is, or else it wouldn't be causing me trouble. It's just a larger version of the mini Griptilian. That's literally it. It's not a huge difference. Oh, come on, you can come apart. Yep. Yep, the plan is to take it apart to clean it. It doesn't want to come apart though. Like, it's coming apart, but it's doing it really, really slow. Sometimes I wish I had one of them electric screwdrivers. Yep, S30V. Got it for $75. That's the only reason I bought it. Holy shit, that's a long screw. Oh, fuck, that stinks. Friendly reminder. Clean your knives. Because when they don't smell good, people notice. AJ, what's up? I can't tell if it's slowly coming loose if I just broke it. It's used. I know the question and the answer is a no. So that's not fun. Well, here's what I'm going to start with is the Omega spring. Relaxing that. Then we're going to try and push. Yeah, there we go. You can see the hair sticking out of this thing. Okay. Now the two things holding this together are the stop pin and the Omega, or this crossbar lock. Axis lock, actually, since it is a Benchmade. And that came out so much nicer. Oh, there's another pin on the other side. So yeah, this is the inside of a Griptilian. Well, this one came apart really nice. The one I had issues with on the Iridium, it took forever to take it apart, and then it took forever to put it back together. So I'm going to try and screw this back in a little bit. Yeah, I'm starting to think I definitely broke that that thing. I either broke the screw or I broke the brass part that tightens, that the brass insert that you can see in there. On the bright side, since I do kind of plan on keeping this one, I think I'm going to end up getting aftermarket scales for it eventually. So that's a great question, AJ. I wonder when that was supposed to happen. Well, I'll tell you, we were definitely not supposed to do one today at 6 o'clock my time. We definitely didn't have that planned out. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I did, in fact, break something on this thing taking it apart. Luckily, it's none of the important parts, and we'll see what I can do about that. But if I end up buying some aftermarket scales for this thing, these are just going to get replaced. I'll be buying aftermarket hardware and aftermarket scales. Not a big deal though, it's just one of the supporting screws. So let's see. So apparently these are known for breaking, which is fun. We're going to go in with some dry Q-tips. Pick up dust. How's it going, RC51? Yep, I bought a Griptilian today. It was a cheap enough price that I said I could probably resell this. So, I bought it. It is a full size. Yeah, why can't all crossbar locks be this easy to take apart and put together? Give me a sec, I gotta hold it right. I'm doing this backwards. There. Now this is the only part that I'm even remotely worried about, is snapping an Omega spring when putting it back in the hole. because these things are under a decent amount of tension. It is a Benchmade, yes. And if you don't feel comfortable taking your knife apart, then don't take it apart. It's not worth figuring it out the hard way that you don't know how to put it back together. I don't know if this was a collab thing. I do want to warn you, Eagle Scout, that the worst part about putting these things back together is getting the washers in there. Well, I'm pretty sure it was a licensing deal. Damn, that sucks. We should probably clean the blade real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was a licensing deal where they allowed it for financial compensation of some sort. I never really looked that far into it. But yeah, definitely the worst part about putting these things back together is getting the washers back in there. No, not only is it trademarked, it's patented. I have no clue if there's a tool you can get to hold this together. Yeah, if you ever want to have a bad day, take something apart that has an omega spring in it. I do have one option. Actually, that's not a terrible option at all. I don't think this is quite as bad as a gun, personally. Nowhere near as many moving parts. Springs are just the worst, though. So there we go. So the worst part about putting this thing back together is, if you couldn't tell, lining up the blade. Because you've got to pull back on that. You know what's funny? Is I already figured out a way of designing this where this would be done in 5 minutes or less. There we go. Come on. Give me that last little bit. Oh. Come on, we're on the last step, guys. It has now gone through both washers, the blade. There. Well, that was easy. 10 out of 10 would never do this again. Doesn't that just look like it's gonna break? Yeah, piece of cake. No issues whatsoever. 10 out of 10 would recommend that you do this yourself. That's under a shit ton of tension. Dude, Spydercos are so easy to take apart. Yeah, that thing's never going tight again. I've heard of Benchmade springs breaking. So I have a tool for that. It's called a vise. I've never taken a Manix apart, but I'm not exactly looking forward to it. Here pretty soon I'm going to end up having one of those, and then, of course, being a YouTuber, I have to make a video on it. Oh yeah, because I'm going to take it apart and lube it. Fuck that. I already put this shit back together. You think I'm taking it apart to put some lube in there? Hell no. That's what phosphor bronze washers are for. They're supposed to naturally polish over time. And it ends up smooth. Might have to send this in for a spa treatment, minus the S, because I don't need it sharpened. All I want them to do is fix the one broken part on it. This free spinning screw right here. Oh yeah, there's that other side of things. You know what I hate about Benchmade? Not only are they overpriced, but if you take it apart, you void the warranty. I think Spyderco used to do that, but they're so easy to take apart and put back together that it's not a big deal. Nah, this shit's getting uploaded. Well, it seems like Spyderco's backing the whole right to repair scene, which I appreciate very much. I don't think they're selling parts, but Kershaw does. They're pretty good about that. Ground Fog, what's up? Now, I figured for as much shit that I give Benchmade, I got to at least try carrying one of their knives. Sure, but a pocket clip doesn't require taking the whole thing apart. Or I could just do this. That's about how it was earlier. Made a really loud click. Well, I think that they'd know that I tried to take it apart when I tell them that this screw is stripped. I think that's a pretty solid assumption that you'd say, well, he obviously tried to take it apart. So that's my guess anyway. Of course, that's just my guess. If they're dumb enough to not figure that out, then you weren't supposed to know that. We're going to go ahead and redo that edge that I gave it at the pawn shop. So my local pawn shop pays me to sharpen knives. Specifically knives that are over $50. I sharpen them pretty good, but you know, I sharpen my personal stuff better than I sharpen theirs. Don't tell them I said that. Well, here's the thing is the screw won't come out. So not only is it stripped, so what happened basically is the glue holding the brass insert into these plastic scales broke. So now it free spins, but it won't come out. Well, to be honest, you don't need that screw. Yeah, tell them it's stripped when putting it back in. You know, that's not a terrible idea when you look at it this way. It backed itself out, I tightened it, and it broke. Excuse me while I get my hand completely drenched. D-O. Okay. SKSI, what's up? I don't recommend them to people anyway. The only reason I bought it was because it was over $100 off. It was $105 off when I bought it, which I got a killer deal. But the fact that it takes it being over $100 off for me to buy one should tell you everything you need to know. Is the camera shaking when I do that? I would like to think that my voice is soothing too, but the women run away, so. For as cheap as it is, it's a really good stone. This is my finishing stone at the moment, and it's pretty solid. Yes, it is at night. Well, it's just past midnight. Fuck that. I like this. This blade shape is actually one of my favorites. That, along with the fact that I got it for such a good deal, there was no doubt in my mind that I should have bought it. I could have bought it last weekend, but I'll be honest, I was saving up for a PM2 that they had for sale, and that ended up selling yesterday. And that PM2 I would have sold for, let's see, I probably could have bought it for about 90, and then I would have sold it for 130 or so. Which is a killer deal, by the way. This one's an SATC, yep. I think this is probably the most bang for your buck stone you can get right now, if you don't want to spend more than 30 bucks. Spyderco would do it better. I wouldn't second guess that at all. Spyderco's S30V is just so much nicer to work with, especially when sharpening. Clean edge, and the burr breaks off like, oh, it's just amazing. And then you got to work with this shit where the burr doesn't want to come off as easily. But I would go with Spyderco any day. Not only for well, it's personal reasons, but price range for materials. It's just better. I didn't know that Benchmade made stuff in S45. Oh, I've gotten hair whittling off this. I know for a fact they do S90V. That's on their special shit that costs even more. Well, I've only done the hair whittling sharp thing twice. So to be completely fair, it's only happened twice. Of course, they were both back to back, but you know, I've been working with the same stuff for months. That is stupid. I would agree, except I think that the Manix 2 has a ball bearing in there. I don't know. This is my first one. I have no clue how long these things last. Um, sure, it's the same concept, but it is a little bit different. Let's see. The Para 3 is one of my favorite knives. And the only reason I would recommend it over a Manix 2 is because I don't have a Manix 2 yet. So I can't give a fair shot on that one. There's still a burr. I hate it when that happens. Now let's see. Do you live in a humid area? I am doing just fine. How about yourself? Glad to hear it. The Para 3 is definitely comfortable. Do I love sharpening? No. So yeah, SKSI, is it humid where you live? There's a burr I'm trying to remove. Every time you drop in, you talk about a knife that I've never heard of. If it's not hot, then I'd probably go with Crewwear. Or if it's not humid, I'd probably go with Crewwear, but you need to keep in mind that if you sweat on that blade, it will rust. And yes, you need to hold the same angle. Oh, let's move on to the next one. Now, I don't think that this is hair whittling at the moment. Well, we can look that up real quick. D2 is 12% chromium, so it is almost stainless, but it is not fully stainless. Crewware, I think, is around 4%. Crewware is 7.25%. I'll put it this way. This one is 6% chromium. It needs to be 13% or more to be considered stainless. Over the summer, I've had this thing in my pocket, and every time that I sweat a little bit, it develops surface rust right here. Those black dots that you can see right there, that's surface rust. It also developed some pretty bad surface rust up here that I cleaned off. But yeah, just assume crewware will start rusting, especially if it's hot. Nice and sharp. Now, what you guys see under the camera was black. What I see is a slight brown tint, but it just doesn't show up well under camera. If you want to, I do have an Instagram, yeah. Six months of rain in a year, then yeah, you're gonna have issues with rust. I'd just go with MagnaCut at that point. Yeah, if you could get crewware with a DLC coating, that would be worth it. But you need to be sure to keep the edge clean. Something else about DLC that people don't really mention, your action will never be as smooth with a DLC coating as it would be without it. I've noticed this. I've owned 3 Para 3s, and one of them was DLC coated. The other 2 aren't. And the 2 that aren't are so much smoother than the DLC coated version. Appreciate that, Ron. As a great reminder, I never tell anybody in my streams what to do. unless they're misbehaving or I'm telling them to drink water. So there was a Blade HQ exclusive. Oh no, that was M4. How does M4? Real quick. M4 is even worse. Never mind. Then I don't know of anybody that makes DLC coded crewwear. It would be cool to see because over the years, materials that hurt the DLC just stick to it. So over the years, you'll have a discolored DLC coating. I love non-stainless steels. They're fun. I get to play with some of the weirdest stuff. 1095 isn't super weird, but the discoloration that you get is pretty cool. Damn, I didn't post the picture that I got of this yesterday. So this isn't stainless either. You probably could, but it's not going to do a whole lot. Some of the stone or the particles of the stonewash media are just going to stick to it. Then your coating's a little less smooth. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. If you wanted to polish it, it might be worth it, but exactly. And it doesn't leave the permanent scratches most of the time that a plain steel blade would. Well, DLC ceramic, what is ceramic? Like 80 HRC? And DLC is 90. Then yeah, I think either MagnaCut or Vanax would be one of the better steels for you. Just based off of what you're claiming right there. Well, then there's the other side of things where DLC adds about $10 to $15 on top of the price of whatever knife you're looking at. And with MagnaCut being a stainless, I don't think that they DLC coated it. I don't think that was an option. Although S45 is stainless and they DLC coated that. I don't know. Yep, they do. Okay. The Spyderco Salt series. Yeah. Knife Center has, actually, that's a pretty damn good deal. Knife Center has a Manix 2 Salt in MagnaCut with DLC coating. That wouldn't be a bad knife right there. 180. Oh, but it's on pre-order. Oh, that sucks. I'll agree, the Salt Series scales are kind of stupid. I think these ones are G10. They're not the regular. Yeah, these ones are G10 scales. And no, they're deep textured. The lines, those are deep texturing. I'm gonna go turn the AC on. I always forget to do that before streaming. So I love that question. Or, I mean, that request anyway. We should be talking more about the difference in handle materials. So I'll give you a basic breakdown. I don't think I have anything with aluminum scales. We'll pull out some, do I have anything in carbon fiber? Holy shit, it's hot in here. Excuse me for a second, guys. This is really fucking hot. Titanium's heavier than aluminum. It's like 40% heavier than aluminum. Maybe it's more like 36% heavier, but it is definitely heavier. Okay, so we're going to start with materials like Delrin. This is Delrin, super soft. I'm pretty sure soft enough to scratch it with your fingernail if you push hard enough. Lightweight, basically just plastic, easy to mold, and has a nice pocket wear over the years. FRN is basically injection molded plastic with fiberglass reinforcement. It is non-porous. It doesn't absorb things, but it's cheap and overall, if done right, it's comfortable. And this is perfectly comfortable. This isn't bad at all. It keeps costs down. Benchmade, I'm talking to you just because you have like the base model of premium steels doesn't mean that you can charge that much when you're using FRN scales. This can keep costs down. That does not mean that profits need to go up. G10 is the next step up, typically, other than carbon reinforced nylon, but that's basically FRN with carbon fiber inside. Big deal. But so G10 here is a form of fiberglass. You need to be careful when modifying these. Always wear a mask and always wear eye protection. You will regret it if you don't. Breathing this stuff in will cause permanent damage to your lungs, and the fiberglass strands you will never be able to get out. So you will always have pain in your lungs. It's quite durable. It's lightweight, has nice texture to it. Overall, it's kind of just the next step up on top of FRN. Next up, I would call probably stainless. Stainless is heavy, durable, puts up with just about any abuse that you can throw at it, but it's cheap and easy to manufacture. There's not a whole lot else to it other than it doesn't rust, which is great. Aluminum would be up next if I had any. Well, actually, we could talk about micarta. And then we'll talk about titanium. So, micarta, depends on which micarta. There's a lot of different types. Some of them are more porous than others. Some of them are more plasticky. This is on the plasticky side of things. It sounds like plastic, but it is micarta. Some of it's rough and helpful with water. If you get your hands in water and they're wet and then you try to use your knife, it's not slick. However, porous micarta will absorb smells, which isn't great for quite a few reasons, but the main reason is people can smell your knife even if you don't. If you've got micarta that is just covered in dead skin cells and full of sweat, everybody's going to smell it. I promise you, everybody smells it every time you pull it out. So we'll go with titanium next. Titanium, you're kind of just buying the name, really. It's a cool material. It's about 40% lighter than stainless with similar properties. That's mostly what you're paying for, is the durability of stainless with similar weight to aluminum. It's a cool material. You know, when everybody thinks about titanium, they think, oh, that shit's going to be expensive. It doesn't have to be, but it also depends on the grade. Titanium doesn't hold up as well to wear, which is why a lot of these frame locks have a steel insert. That's what that screw is. That screw's holding on a steel insert on. Give me a sec. On the inside there. And that steel insert rides along the locking face of the knife. Now, not all of them do that. Some of them run directly on the blade. And I have one right here that does that, which is why I don't open it all that often. Now, apparently you can heat treat titanium, but I still wouldn't trust it. So yeah, in all honesty, all you're paying for with titanium is the fact that it's titanium. No huge major benefits or anything like that. It's just kind of cool. And I would pay extra for something that's kind of cool. So, speaking of which, I've done it multiple times. And then there's aluminum. Yeah, it's basically the higher end of folding knives. And then you get into stuff like exotic materials, different types of rare wood, mammoth molar, mammoth ivory. You know, all this stuff that you wouldn't carry because it's fragile. Now, aluminum is how much lighter than titanium? I looked this up earlier and the Google AI said, I said, is titanium lighter than aluminum? And it said, yes, titanium is lighter than aluminum. Aluminum is lighter than titanium. 36% lighter than titanium. Is hmm. Hmm. Give me just a sec. I'm learning stuff. %66 of 4.5. 4.5 minus 66%. No, that's not right. 46%. 50%. 40%. Yep. So this is what was it? The density of titanium per cubic centimeter. So a cubic centimeter of titanium is 4.5 grams, and a cubic centimeter of aluminum is 2.7. So aluminum is 40% lighter than titanium. But it also feels cheaper, in my opinion. So that's why none of the knives that I own have aluminum scales. I will look to spend extra money so that I don't have aluminum scales. Yep, if you take the scales off, they will feel like they weigh almost nothing. But aluminum does need the structural stability of liners, and titanium just doesn't. That's why titanium ends up feeling lighter, is because it is solid titanium instead of aluminum with a stainless liner in there. Because stainless, I believe, is 40% heavier than titanium. Okay. So 8 minus what, 50, no, 45%. 8 minus 45% minus 46%. Oh, 44, 44.2%, 5%, 43, 42.8%, 0.6%, 5%. So it's about 42.5% more dense than titanium, which is where that extra weight comes from. I think aluminum feels cheaper because it's lighter. To me, that's what I assume is the reason it feels cheaper. Seven percent. No, there's a point between heavy as fuck and light as fuck that things feel just right. Copper feels cheaper than no, yeah. Copper feels cheaper to me than stainless. And I think copper is heavier than stainless. You know, if my phone would be helpful for once and work. Copper is heavier and feels cheaper. So this is a copper linerless knife. And it weighs more than the Para 3 while being smaller. How much more than the Para 3? Well, RR2314. I'll bet you that thing weighs, yeah, it weighs a lot. What was it? 2314? Yeah. Okay, how much does this bad boy weigh? Oh, you pile. Come on, tell me. What, no idea? Just a second, guys. I'll get you guys a solid answer. Fine. Fuck you. I'll go weigh it myself. And I'll weigh this one. And I'll weigh this one. I'll be right back. I don't have a scale downstairs, so... Okay. And the answer is 5.2 ounces, 3.5 ounces, and 3 ounces. Crytex, what's up? Welcome back. It is a classy knife, and by the time I'm done with it, it'll be really, really nice. The plan was to do a full forced Shipwreck patina on it, on both sides. I need to work on that. Gano, what's up? How's it going? And it makes an amazing sound when you open it. So it's a spade blade. And it is thick. It is thick, thick. Almost as thick as the Para 3. Nope. I did not make these. I have 170 something, I think. I don't know. It's been a while since I counted. I stopped counting when I hit 150. And then I've bought and sold plenty of knives since then, so I have no clue. Supposedly it's VG10, but I'm not 100% sure on that. You'd think if it was VG10, they'd be proud and they'd tell you. But instead, on the Blade HQ website, all it says is stainless. And then on the Smoky Mountain Knife Works website, it says VG10, so I don't know. Altogether, my total cost into the channel basically is between 4,000 and 4,500. It is a nice half stop. Fully flat. But that click when you open it is just beautiful. If you don't hit a Spyderco on the way. So when I sell this, the plan is to sell it for around 100. Brand new, they're 26. I know it sounds stupid, but the amount of hours I'll be putting into finishing these scales, it'll be worth it, I swear. I don't think I have a rainbow knife anymore. I need to get one of those, just for shits and giggles, because why not? I've held one Paragon, and I was not happy with it. I think it was the Paragon Warlock or something. And I only held it. I didn't even buy it. Those are the weird ones where you press the button and they open up, right? Mora makes some decent stuff. I will never shit on a Mora until they start making stuff out of trash. Sure, it's a great fidget toy, but with me being the way I am, I'm going to forget which side opens which way and which side closes which way because I'm going to be playing with it like that. And I'm going to press the button, flick it closed, and it's going to bounce off the stop pin that's over here and come bite me on the other side. My newest knife is this Benchmade Griptilian. I bought it today. I sharpened it today too. I took it apart and cleaned it on stream today, like just about an hour ago. So it needs to be broken in again. That's the downside of washers, is every time you take them apart, they need broken in again. I do get those questions a lot, you're right. My favorite knife changes quite often. At the moment, it's the Para 3, though. This thing's just so nice. Comfortable. Haven't had any issues with it. So I have 2 of them. And my most expensive knife, I showed it off earlier, but you weren't in here. And I didn't claim that it was my most expensive knife at the time. My most expensive knife is this Kershaw. My oldest knife. Just this once, I will answer that question. So this runs about 450. Just this once, I will answer this question. My oldest knife is upstairs. Give me a minute to go grab it. I won't usually do this. I don't think I'll ever do it again, to be honest. But I do appreciate you bringing that up, because the knives in my oldest case have certain materials that decompose. So this is my oldest knife. This knife I found at a thrift store. R, what's up? How's it going? It is a, what's the company? It's been a while. It is a Canton Cutlery Co. Style number A11. Canton Cutlery Co. was around between 1911 and 1916 before they stopped making pocket knives, and I'm pretty sure they went out of business. So back then, your fancy pocket knives. My day was fine. How about yourself? Your fancy pocket knives would have a Polaroid. Well, not an actual Polaroid, but a silver nitride picture behind the scales. So I think back in the day when this knife came out, a while ago, I had... Give me just a sec. I'm going to see if I can find that poster. There we go. Okay. So this company was established in 1870. The highest quality pocket knives and cutlery specialties for any purpose. They used a Carvan steel, whatever that means. I'm assuming it means carbon vanadium. And let's see, the company didn't last too long. Give me just a sec to figure this out. Okay, so that advertisement was from 1921. So I'm thinking of the M.L. Brandt Cutlery Co. from New York. That one was around the same years, and that company didn't last very long. The first knife I ever got or received broke. It was a Columbia multi-tool made in China with green aluminum scales. I broke it on a camping trip, and then that same camping trip I got my second knife from a family friend who watched it break, and it was a Victorinox Swiss Champ. My worst injury. I was carving. If family members or friends have ever told you don't cut towards yourself, yep, I thought I was good enough to not worry about that. Didn't listen, did it anyway. The knife slipped all the piece of wood, or off the piece of wood, and it got me right there, and then went all the way down to right there. I think you get the crown from talking. You got to talk a lot, though. So yeah, that's the worst injury that I've ever gotten. Yeah, if you donate, then you get extra money, but I don't have donations turned on, so. Plus, I'd much prefer that somebody buys a knife from me instead of donating money. Because at least you get something out of it. That's why I don't like the whole donation thing. It's also the reason why I haven't set them up yet, along with I really don't want to do taxes for this channel. I can't say I've ever banana peeled myself, but that's a funny way of putting it. Well, I'm assuming he was holding a zip tie and ended up cutting himself. So we can look at some of my older knives now that they're down here, and we might as well. So this is my oldest case, and I believe my oldest Camillus. And who were you made by? Ah, yeah, M.L. Brandt Cutlery Company. So these are my oldest knives, I think. These are my oldest knives. These are my oldest knives. So this is an Imperial from, I believe, the 40s. And they didn't use resin back then. They used celluloid. And what celluloid does over the years is it decomposes into, I believe, nitric acid. Let me double check that. Oh, that is wonderful. That's fun. Yeah, I've never gotten myself that good. I don't have any double-sided knives. Nope. So this scar right here, every time that I touch it, I either barely feel it or it tickles. I mean, I know that I'm touching it, but like right here tickles, right here there's almost nothing. Doctor said I should have been dead by the time I showed up. If I would have hit what was it, a couple centimeters to the left, I would have died within 4 minutes. And if I would have hit a little further over here, then I wouldn't have been able to control my pinky. So anyway, I think this one was in the 40s. This one was made in the 30s. A case tadpole. So finding the parts number or the part number for this one wasn't easy, and I had to go through to a couple of people to get it, and I don't remember what the part number was. So all of these use celluloid for the handles, and that is cellulose nitride and what else? And some sort of resin from a tree. And what it does when it starts to decompose is the cellulose nitride starts turning into a noxious gas that eats metal. So unfortunately, I'm keeping all these together. That sounds disgusting. So this is a Camillus from the 50s. It is in carbon steel, yet it still has almost a perfect mirror finish. It is a Model 43. Now, after handling this time or this one, every time that I handle it, I have to clean it off. It has a file, a nail file, on the other side. Really, really cool piece of history right here. So this is one of the few that I actually, every time that I touch it, I'm careful with it. Because this one is my oldest knife that's in decent condition. So next what we do after wiping it off is we take some mineral oil and put a drop or two on both sides. And then I close it without touching the blade. And there we go. This is a multi-tool made by who? Utica Cutlery Company. I do not make knives, nope. Now, Utica Cutlery Company is, or was, based in Utica, New York. And this one was made roughly in the 30s. Well, an ambulance costs a shit ton of money. So yeah, those are all my oldest knives. Bonk, what's up? I keep forgetting to bring it up, but I do have knives up for sale for anybody that might be interested that's in the US. I mean, that's how ambulances tend to be anyway. Even out here in the middle of the city, I'd be faster driving myself. Plus, you think that if I cut my finger open like that, I'm going to be following traffic laws? Fuck no. Dude, I'm in my truck bleeding. First of all, my truck is important to me. Second of all, I'm not bleeding in my truck for extended periods of time. And third, I'm not calling an ambulance to spend $6,000 getting to the hospital just for them to do what I would have done. And here's the thing about ambulance drivers, right? In an ambulance, you have at least 3 people. AB123, what's up? Welcome back. Yeah, so in an ambulance, you have 2 people and probably at most 3 to 4. Right? In my truck, I have me, and that's it. If somebody gets in an accident, it's just me. Now, if somebody gets in an accident in an ambulance, then there's 3 or 4 people that are hurt. But if it's just me, then it's just me, which means I can drive as fast as I want. And I will get to that hospital quickly. So, AB123, I got a question for you. Since you're in here. I was just thinking about it the other day. Did you still want that Twitch 3? Yep, it's just life here in America. That's how it be. Fair enough. You left to find a better live stream? My feelings. They're destroyed. Oh, I don't think I'll ever recover from this. Anyway, you're all good. Here's what I can do for you. As much as I kind of hate doing it. I'm going to put your name on the list for that knife. No, that's completely fair. See, he finds it, let's put it this way. Crytex finds it wild that we have to pay for an ambulance I find it wild that Australia lost to a bird in a war. Could you imagine losing to a bird? Don't get me wrong. I know those birds are big, but holy shit, is that disappointing. That bird had a really good medical. Okay, so AB123, I'm going to put you on the list for this knife. I'm giving you a month to buy it. If you don't end up getting it by then I'll have to put it back up for sale. No, it's a bird. A bird isn't smart enough to cheat. Don't give me that. It's a bird. And I understand that it's like a 5-foot bird, but it's still just a bird. It's a giant turkey. At A, B, 1, 2, 3. Well, you're probably the easiest person that I've written on this list. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you can find me an emu that can do an IQ test, then I'll believe you that they're one of the smartest animals in the world. Until that happens, they're just another bird to me. So how much did we say? Like 35 after shipping? $38. No, they didn't. Because they're birds, not gorillas. And if you suck at shooting a giant bird, then you suck at shooting in general. So AB123, I'm just gonna drop it to 35 because I really don't want to have an odd number. Shut up, James. It's better than 37. Y'all are turds. Oh, would you rather I say like 36? Because that's just weird. No, no, no. We're sticking to 35. Look, it's a good number for an $80 knife. Speaking of which, this is up for sale right now for $180. I'd hazard a guess that most people wouldn't go down to a 22 as well. Don't get me wrong, they'd all cry about it, but unless you hit the turn-off button, then chances are they're not going to drop. You have a good one, old man. We'll see you later. My rarest knife is my most expensive knife. Unless you count my old stuff. Oh, I'm allowed to carry a gun almost anywhere. Sure, you might get stopped by the police, but legally there's nothing they can really do about it. I can walk around with an AR and, you know. Okay, so the way I look at it is I don't own firearms for the reason of self-defense. I own them for the reason of defending myself against a tyrannical government. That is not defending myself against a single person. A 22 isn't going to do a whole lot. Could you like sit normal? Yeah, that's stupid. So in my state, I can carry a firearm out in public anywhere. In public. This doesn't include I don't have a Sage 5. If you meant my Para 3, it is a Para 3 in Maximate. This is probably my weirdest knife. Specifically because of the steel. Can we try what other again? It's a good knife. I'm kind of scared of dropping it, but yeah. Can we try the offer again? Do you have pay or not PayPal? Do you have Cash App? I think I asked this before. Okay, yeah. Then you can go ahead and do the offer. If you offer 35, I'll go accept it right now and then you can pay right after. And then it'll all get taken care of nice and quick. I love that. Being a collector is a valid reason. Dude, that is great. Being that I'm a knife collector, it wouldn't surprise people if I said I collected guns too, would it? New offer. Selling. I mean, if you're good with the 38, then I'm happy to give it to you for that. You sure you're all good with that? And just so you know, uh, you're all good with that? Okay. Okay. P.O. Box. Yep. Accept this offer. Okay. So now it's all on your end. I appreciate that. Yeah, you think I'm fighting a kangaroo barehanded? Fuck that. Are non-locking knives legal? Oh, in Australia? That's a great question. I wouldn't win. Fuck that. Well, actually, no, I still think I'd lose. Oh, if I could take a sharpened stick, I might be able to do something. I don't know about you, but kangaroos are built like a freaking bodybuilder here. I just find it hilarious. Like, you guys are perfectly fine with kangaroos roaming around, but you had to pick a fight with a bird and then lost. It's just an overgrown turkey. Get some shotguns, go hunting, have a good dinner. I mean, seriously, one of those emus could feed what? Like two families? Oh, I know about the cassowary. Those things are fucking scary looking. No, I've never fought a turkey, but if I'm fighting a turkey with a shotgun, I'm not too scared. Ostriches are fucking huge. What knife do I think would win in a gunfight? Any of them if you're close enough. I don't know. I've never pissed off a turkey. Neither have I been chased by a turkey. I've been chased by a goose, but I didn't run away, so I think that kind of caught it off guard. That's the same thing with the goose, yeah. Well, yeah, it would be a slaughter, but we're talking about going up against an emu with shotguns. You think I'm going to lose to a giant bird when I've got a shotgun? No way. So, again, for anybody that's interested, you didn't have shotguns. Well, whose fault is that? It ain't mine. For anybody curious, I've got knives up for sale. Probably the best deal at the moment is 160 for a Para 2 or a PM2 in S45 and DLC. So you had machine guns, big whoop. You still lost. I think that that was a tactics war and you completely lost. Nope. I don't find fighting people with a knife to be very smart. Shipping label rate quote error. Hmm. Let me think of. I'm going to go talk to their little AI thing. You should go talk to their little AI thing on their website. Yeah, I sell knives. I've said that twice now, at least. I don't sell to Australia unless you want to pay for that unreasonable amount of shipping. I'll show you where to get their little AI assistant thing. When you're on their website, it's right here. thing in the corner. And then one of the options should be to talk to an AI. I can't talk to it on here, on this phone, because it's too old, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I have no clue how much it's going to cost to ship out to Australia. Okay, let's see here. So if you click up here, and then you click on the 4 more links, and you click Blade Binge right there. And then you wait for it to load forever because this phone's 10 years old. And then, yeah, you can look at all the stuff that I have up for sale. That is probably the best deal on my page at the moment. $160 for a PM2. Or if you pay me directly with Cash App, then I'll drop the price. Because Blade Binge takes a cut, and then if I cut out the middleman, then you don't have to pay as much. $5 months is just forever, though. Bet you when it showed up, you were like, the hell is this? So here's the PM2. It's smooth, it just needs broken in again. I took it apart and cleaned it. Same thing with the Benchmade. It needs broken in again. You're subbed. I think that meant subbed, and I appreciate that. So for anybody curious, in October, I will have a fake Spyderco build. It is a Para 3 with an aftermarket VG10 blade, fake liners, and fake titanium hardware, or aftermarket titanium hardware. So basically, I'll have a user one of these. So let's see, you're going to go to sleep. It's almost 4 a.m. We'll see you later, Gory. Have a good one. Randall, what's up? Am I attending Blade Show in 2026? Most definitely not. I came to the realization last year that Blade Show would cost me about $400 just to get there and get tickets. I did get some new goodies, if you can see it on the table. I got a Benchmade. So it's not new, but it's new to me. I got it for 75 bucks. Brand new, this thing's like 180. So I got a killer deal on that thing. I bought it to sell it, and then I told myself I got it for a decent deal. I'm going to give it a shot before I try and sell it. I doubt I'm going to keep it. Probably, but the hole on this one is smaller than the one on the Para 3. You have a great one, Crytex. We'll see you later. Yeah. You need to flick it a little bit, but yeah, you can do it. Did you get it all taken care of, AB123? Oh. Nope, the squishy scales issue is on the bug out. We'll see you later, Gano. Have a good one. It's already been 2 hours? Damn. Well, AB123, my recommendation, my professional recommendation, you can contact them whenever, but chances are they won't get back to you until Tuesday. And the reason behind that is Labor Day is Monday. So yeah, that'll be fun. You're good. I don't mind a little bit of a wait. It's not a big deal to me. The one that I'm kind of anxious about waiting on is this one up here. I don't really want to wait to sell that. It is 1:30. Damn. It is 1:51 over here. My recommendation is you set an alarm thing on your clock. And oh yeah, my oven's still fast. It is 1:47 here. You know what's funny is this one is a lot lighter than this one. It needs broken in too. We can do that, a little bit of that right now. Oh, but KO, how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to show you guys a way of breaking in these knives quickly. Now, I don't recommend doing this, but because this is the first time I'm ever going to do it. But in my head, it just makes sense. I'm going to put away all the other Spydercos real quick. So yeah, set an alarm for like the middle of the day, Tuesday. And then send them a message. Or even send them the message now. And then set a reminder for you to check your messages on Tuesday. So yeah, this one's nice and smooth and it closes really easy. This one's basically brand new and it does not close smoothly. So we're going to fix that. At least I hope this is going to fix that because I'm not 100% sure. I've never tried this before. So here we go, guys. KO trying some new shit. What are we going to do? How are we going to fix this issue? With metal polish. And this is probably going to sound like a horrible thing to do to one of your knives. And it may be. But it's something new that I've never tried before. Oh, nice. Didn't get me to bleed, though. Pry bar again. So unfortunately, my grease idea didn't work. Okay, oh, what does that mean? Well, the grease that I put in here to lube things up didn't work the way that it usually does. Well, what are you going to do to fix that? Well, loyal viewers. Oh, they're sitting flat. It's fine. The thing's just brand new and it needs broken in. And I don't like waiting extended periods of time for something to break in. So, we're putting some stainless polish on the washers. KO, I've never seen that done before. Yep, neither have I. Maybe there's a reason it's never been done before. Or maybe there isn't. We're all just kind of stupid for not trying things. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a Q-tip and some metal polish. And put it on there. Then we're going to put the blade. Then we're going to put a little more metal polish on a Q-tip. Put it on the blade over here. Then we're going to put the washer. Now we're going to close this. Oh yeah, that is gritty. Then I'm going to sit here and play with it. See? Drop shut smooth now. So now we take it back apart. We wipe off all the metal polish so that it stops wearing away on the blade and on the washers. Oh my god, KO, you're using a knife as a pry bar. Uh-huh. I am. What are you gonna do about it? Ooh, that sucks. Oh, now I gotta find that. If this works out, I'm definitely recommending this as a way of breaking in your washer knives. I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe? I don't know. Oh yeah, it does. Right there. Just fine. Yeah, it's a detent ball. DETENT ball. Black stuff all over this. Well, most knives have that. Well, most modern knives have that. Now, if this worked as perfectly as I think it did, then this knife should be at that broken in stage that I really like, where it's nice and smooth. I can show you on other knives. If you give me a sec to put this back together, I'll show you. I'm going to do dry. Oh, yep, that was dumb. Forgot to clean out the inside of the blade. Some stuff on the inside of the blade. Oh, dude, that is so smooth. Please just stay that smooth when you're closed all the way. Yep, I try and teach people at least one new thing on every stream. Does it work out like that? Probably not, but I try. Oh, dude, that thing is scary smooth. Probably because it's not tied all the way. Well, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your night, AB123. This is not working out the way that I had planned. Okay. Just a heads up, the offer may expire. Just send the offer in again. I check my blade binge like once a day, so maybe twice or 3 times sometimes. Think we're going to end the stream here in about half an hour. Okay. Now to show some knives with a detent ball. We'll see you later, AB123. You have a good one. Will do. Detent ball. Right there. Ooh, you will save money if you buy shit from me. Ooh. I think I need to send this to Tops. The blade has some issues. So this thing is no longer up for sale. Hopefully they take care of me. Because you guys know, to me, the most important thing about a company is customer service. Other than a quality product, obviously. Oh yeah, you left and then I took it apart and showed everybody and you weren't here. Convenient, isn't it? I'll take another one apart. Just give me a sec. Plus I can probably just show you. Right there. So you push the thing down and it stops on that ball. And then you break past it. I've got another one that I can take apart and show you where it's blatantly obvious that it's there. So this one, I just sharpened this. Oh yeah. So this one isn't a flipper. The other one was, this one isn't. It's an expensive little knife. $200. Now when I bought it, it was $60, but that was for a limited time that they had a really good deal on it. It's also my first knife in M390. The detent ball is white. This is a ceramic detent ball. So the ceramic detent balls should last longer than the steel ones. The steel detent balls, which you'll notice over years of use, that's titanium. I think it's also my first knife in titanium too. Anyway, the ceramic detent balls, yeah, they go flat. Not the ceramic ones, but the stainless ball bearings. You'll wear away one spot that the blade is rubbing up against, and eventually it will just no longer be round. Now, I don't have any knives that have a really blatantly obvious flat spot, so I can't show you any examples. On the bright side, at least you don't have to take it apart to check. You can just kind of do this, push the lock bar out of the way, and turn a flashlight on and look in there. And you'll see it's blatantly obvious if it's flat on top. Rust isn't a big deal. This one isn't. At least it better not be. Oh, that thing looks brand new. This whole knife is brand new. Was that you that was on the wait list for that one? Yeah, that's you. I was playing with it earlier. Nice and clean flick. I wish my military was that smooth. Instead, the military is 11 years old. It needs to be sent in. Yeah, what do we have it priced at? Come on, wait list, tell me. Priced at... It's a Chinese one. What did we price it at? $35 sounds a little low. It was either 35 or 40, but I don't remember which one because I forgot to write it down. I don't even think I have that one up listed publicly. I could do that. Where is a pen? Oh. So is that 35 before shipping or 35 after? Or no, I did say 40. Because I told you I'd give it to you for cost. That's the only one I was willing to get rid of for cost. And it did cost me 40. So then there's the other question for you. Would you be all right with 40 plus shipping? And I think they are around 60 to 65 right now. I can check that though. Awesome. So if I charge you $5 in shipping, which would end up being $45, guess how much profit I'm making? I am making a whopping, let me see, 20 something cents. Oh no, and I mean I'm making nothing, like I'm selling it to you for cost plus shipping. I am making nothing on this thing. So like if I charge you 5 in shipping, I'll probably make 20 cents in profit. Blade HQ. And this bad boy is $69. Yep. Well, I make sure, or I try to make sure that I always make a little bit of profit. $45. What? See, here's the thing. I don't need the money. If I needed the money, I might do that, but I really don't. Whoop-de-doo, I might sell it like 2 days faster because everybody wants a better deal. Button lock is the best for EDC. I would love to argue with you about that one. So I think I'm going to send this thing into Spyderco and have them sharpen it for me. I want the broken tip fixed. Other than that, I'll sharpen it myself for the rest of the time that I have it. The first knife I bought for myself has been sold a long time ago. And I own so many now that any bias that I have is based off of good experiences. I've never had that happen. If you cut your fingernails, it's not a problem. Compression locks are fun too. The compression lock has a very specific sound to it. You know what's sad is I came up with the top liner lock before Vosteed did. I just didn't have the money to patent that. And I'm not even kidding when I say this. I'm not going to lie about that. I came up with the top liner lock idea like a year and a half to 2 years ago. I just couldn't afford patenting. How old am I? I am 23. The bottom crossbar lock has been done already. A company created the crossbar lock where it's reversed. Where did I put? There it is. Yeah, so instead of being up here, it's down here, and you have to push it forward to release. So you push it forward on both sides and then flick it down. Jared from Neves Knives made a video with that. You should go check it out. It's a really weird knife. But yeah, the bottom axis lock has been created already. What's really sad is every locking mechanism that I've invented was, let's see, one of them was taken before I could afford patenting. Another one was done like a year before I actually came up with the idea. I do not remember the name of it. My experience with sharpening the Para 3. Does it make what fast? I've never had an issue sharpening one of these. They sharpen really nice. They hold an edge for a while too. I'll go onto Instagram to see if I can find the knife, but being that I'm on a 10-year-old phone, Don't be surprised if nothing shows up. It's going to take a while for things to load. Just scroll down through his posts on Instagram until we find this thing. This might take a little longer than I thought. I could have sworn that he posted about it in like the last 2 weeks. And I have no clue what you mean by you're killing it. Give me just a sec. I'm looking for it. Oh, is this it? Nope. 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 No. Nope. 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 No. Nope. 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 No. 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 Nope. Nope. Well, I can't find it. I went back until the 4th of July and I thought it was sooner than that. So, I'm going to stop looking now. I think tonight I'm going to upload a video or record a video on the new sharpening system so that I can get that uploaded. We got about a minute and a half until I end the stream. So I'm going to dull a knife real quick. What's the knife that comes up nice and sharp really easily? I just want one that the burr comes off quick. this is gonna suck to do. Oh well. We'll do it with a new knife. Yeah, you're about to not be that sharp. You shitting me? That is not sharp. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today's stream. I'm going to go ahead and get off and then sharpen this in a video. So yeah, we will talk to you later or whatever. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, night, morning. That is not how that works, but okay. I did just dull the shit out of this thing. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. I'll be streaming tomorrow, I believe. Well, later today. So yeah, we'll see you then. You saw it with your own eyes. Have a good one, James. We'll see you later. And everybody else, we'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Later today, whatever. Bye.